So welcome to the Elite Premier Push Group. And I love these calls all the time, always, and you guys know that. But Shakeology, the pumpkin spice Shakeology, was just released this week. So I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about how you felt about that and what you're doing to have effective releases. So effective launches of programs, consumables, whatever that is. I want to know what you do to get that hype up, to make sure that you're getting more clients and customers and upping your volume kind of thing. So let's kick that off. By talking about how that went for you and, with the pumpkin spice, how you hyped that up. Anyone?
So sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
So I put it on my IG stories, but I didn't get as much traction from that. So what I did though, that I was a little bit more successful with was on my team pages and in our challenge group. Like that day, our check-in was everyone put a GIF on how you feel about pumpkin spice. So of course not everyone liked pumpkin spice, but everyone was talking about it. And so then what happened was the ones who were loving it were saying, I just ordered, I just got this. And so it was making this ripple effect. So one of the girls was like, I don't even like it, but I have to know. And so she had already got hers. So I was more effective with getting it, my challengers buying the pumpkin spice versus new people, because I felt with the new people, there wasn't enough time to even have the conversation because it was sold out then. Like a couple of the people that were like, yeah, I'm interested, I had to message them back and say, sorry. By the time they were getting responding to my conversations, it was already sold out. So I had to message them saying, sorry, it's gone already. So, but I did have much more success with my challengers getting it.
Awesome. Thank you.
I also did kind of the same, where I wasn't 100% comfortable just like marketing it to my social media, only because one, I knew that it was going to be gone in like a couple hours, and I was like, there's literally no way that I'm going to be able to like talk to these people about it and like have it in their hands. So what I did was I prepared for this launch solely in my like community page that I have for all my coaches and all my clients and their coaches and their clients and stuff like that, and took like pre-orders and basically everyone, I had hyped it up over the last couple weeks, and then I like made a post and I was like, put a GIF if you're really excited. And so people were doing that. And then like the next day it was like, okay, this many days. Okay. One day I shared Carl's video, and then it was like, comment here if you want so many boxes, like this will literally be gone in a couple hours. So you need to get your pre-orders in. And then I did that for reminders like every couple days, and it's been really cool because looking at my back office and the team volume is just like through the roof, which is like, it's my biggest week so far volume wise, because I marketed it to not just my clients and coaches, but my coaches' clients and my coaches' coaches, and told them like, guys, like even if you don't like pumpkin spice, if you're a coach, you should be buying at least one box because you can use these for giveaways for your October boot camps. And that's the next step, is the first 5 people that sign up. I've already had people sign up, but I'm just going to say that anyways, on my Instagram stories. And there's going to be 5 people out there who are dying to try pumpkin spice Shago, especially since it's sold out now. So that was my strategy.
I love it. Awesome. Anybody else? This is gold.
I kind of did that too. I actually didn't want to market it to the public because I knew it was going to be like a cluster F on the internet. And I don't want that to be someone's first experience with Beachbody. Like, everyone knows that like a launch is going to have glitches, and I heard that there was such a limited amount. So I did the same thing. I focused on a volume push within my own virtual gym and my challenge group. And I'm also going to do a pumpkin themed giveaway in October. So.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Love it. So anybody not like pumpkin spice that had a hard time? Mariah?
I love pumpkin spice, but what I did was my girls were really excited about it. So I had a few of them that went on, but it was definitely cluster-ish, and they were messaging me like, oh my gosh, I haven't been able to get it. So like, calm down, because I obviously ordered the max amount of boxes that I could. But what I did like the day before or 2 days before was just kind of said like, big announcement coming, more details tomorrow. But what if I told you I could hook you up with something that replaces your daily coffee habit for about the same amount of money, That's going to keep you healthy in the germiest time of year. Like my kids just went back to school and literally like all the kids are getting sick right now. And I feel like heading into winter, we all get sick. So I just kind of played on like how good it's going to make you feel, how it can replace your daily coffee habit for the same amount, and then just left that air of mystery in it. And I said something about your favorite fall flavor and then put like pumpkin emoji. And then asked, who would be interested in more info. And so I got a lot of engagement, some new people, some old people. So I'm going to do a giveaway with all of those people. But I'm also going to be running, starting October 1st, a challenge group pretty much geared towards Shakeology. I mean, we're going to be doing the workouts too, but I'm obsessed with fall and all the flavors of fall. So we're going to do like a different fall recipe every single day. And for the people that didn't get pumpkin spice Shakeology, there are other ways to make it, like with vegan vanilla and stuff. So we're going to be doing, either Shake-O treats or just different, apple cinnamon and different fall recipes like that with Shakeology. So I'm basically going to try to get them to buy, a bag, obviously a challenge pack, and use what they have to make their pumpkin spice. And I'll be giving packets away of the actual pumpkin spice as well.
I love that idea because right now is the time of year where it's like, I could easily spend, and this is just me talking as like, if I was outside of the Beachbody world, I could easily spend an extra $5, $6 a day on pumpkin spice lattes or some seasonal flavor of latte. I'm way more likely during this last quarter to go to a coffee shop and spend that much and have the extra calories, feel kind of icky, and then kind of feel like I crave it more during the day. And if I have this presented to me as, okay, you can still drink this, but it's actually going to contribute to your health and make you healthier and help you have less cravings. And I love the idea of treats, Mariah, because you can go to your Shakeology treats instead of those cookies that your neighbor brings by, right? So I love that idea. I love that angle. So that's great. Anybody else have anything on that before we move on to like program launches? What you guys do there? Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, this is a miracle. I have a 2 and a 1-year-old in the car and they're dead silent, so that's wonderful. But we did a fall group, Whitney Atkinson's my upline. And honestly, we started on Thursday of last week and the goal was like lead into the launch or whatever. But what it did was get everybody, almost like pipeline people and new customers just excited about healthy fall recipes. So at first I was like, I don't know about this. And honestly, it was really, really cool. And now people are still in that group. And I think that's like just like you said, like it's an excitement to get into fall and all that mess. But the issue was, like you guys all said, like there was no challenge pack to come with pumpkin spice latte or pumpkin spice shakes. You know what I mean? And the fact that it sold out, it's like I have people now who are like, oh, I want some. Like, sweet, awesome. But somebody said about the giveaway, I'm definitely doing that. So I got to remember that in my squirrel brain. That's all I had.
Awesome. And I just want everybody to notice how rad her arms look, like shoulders on point. Flex it for us, girl. Flex it. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, so now I kind of want to go into, unless anybody else has anything about Shakeology or pumpkin spice, anything like that, I kind of want to move into product launches, whether it's a new product launch, because this year has been full, you guys. You have totally been able to use this year as like a trial and error. Okay, that worked for 80 Day Obsession. That didn't work for Live 4. That worked for 2B, blah, blah, blah. So you've had a lot of opportunity to trial and error different things. So what has worked best for you? What are you going to do for program launches? And then do you ever consider doing a relaunch? Ready, go.
I'll go. So what I do for program launches that really works is, especially if we know way ahead of time, like Transform 20, for example, we're going to do Shanti workouts and market that and lead up to that to kind of build hype over months and get people started with his programs before that launches and kind of start talking about it. And that really works. It's also really fun as well. And then, of course, so we market that on social media, but I also share a lot about it through my newsletters. And I send out MailChimps to all my existing customers. And then my mailing list, so people who are in my inboxes, I add them to my newsletters too. So they get these updates on new things coming out as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. Anybody else?
I can go. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. I had a really, really great launch with 80 Day Obsession. And basically, similar to Amanda, I mean, really just obviously you're getting your energy excited and up is huge. So I pretty much started with my team. I got my team really excited. I got them hyped up, talked about it in my team page, in our big, like in my upline team page. And then I went to like my customer base. So my existing customers, we have a team-wide challenge group for my team. So we're like hyping up, you know, how excited we are. And I did this with pumpkin spice too, like just be like, oh my gosh, pumpkin spice. But just like getting the energy going, talking about it, sharing like those promo clips. And then of course, talking about it in posts for new customers. But for any of the launches, I focus on my downline first, because they're my existing customers, so I can build my volume. Then I go to my existing customers or old customers, and I literally go into my back office and I reach out to every single customer like I've ever had and invite them. I do the mass customer emails too and drip them out, like kind of like what my posts are every few days. I did this like for about like a month leading up to the 80-day launch. And then I'm really kind of like, by doing that, by leading with example, I created that energy for my team to do that also, and then encouraged my team to do the same thing that I was doing so that they could replicate and reach out to their existing customers. For the launches, most successful, I think, was re-engaging existing or old customers that fell off the wagon. For me, that was what was with 80 Day huge. I did get a huge amount of new customers with 80 Day. But I think the other product launch, and maybe this is just like a side note, what I found is this worked awesome for 80 Day. My to-be launch, I did the same thing. It worked awesome, but they were different crew. It failed miserably with Lift 4 for me. And I think it's because it's like we've had so many new launches that it's like, okay, another launch. So I'm personally not relaunching anything until December, because I know that there needs to be like a break with me hyping up all this energy and excitement so I can get people re-engaged. So if anyone's doing kind of like relaunches but not like social media wise, I'd love to hear ideas about that too from like now till December.
That's such a good point too, is that it really has been such a busy year with so many launches. And I actually love what Amanda said earlier, and it just hit me that she's prepping for this launch for Transform 20 by doing other programs from that trainer. And I know a lot of people leading up to 80 Day were doing 21 Day Fix because it was autumn. So I love that approach, because then you kind of get to know this trainer. And I mean, it's kind of like Chalene Johnson, right? Where, because she's my best friend, because I had worked out with her for so many years, you know, that when she came out with a new product, it's like, oh my gosh, now I have new friend material, right? So it's like you kind of get to know this trainer leading up to their new launch, and then it's like new fresh material. So I love that. Anybody else?
I actually have an idea it's actually one of my coach's ideas, and she came up with it all on her own, and it's like proud mom moment. But she just yesterday got together a bunch of my business builder coaches and asked, they're going to run a free group next week. That's basically like a Lift 4 launch, like not necessarily a sneak peek. Like we've all done like those Snoop groups or like whatever you want to call them before we do a launch, but they're doing a free group solely based on healthy habits, but they're all going live each day and talking about what Lift 4 did for them. They're sharing transformations. So it's a free group, but it's also like Lift 4 starts on October 1st. And we really want you in too, because we're doing another team-wide like test group. And I'm not like necessarily relaunching it. I thought about it and then kind of like stepped back because of the whole like Shaun T thing and just all of that. But I thought this free group idea of one of my coaches was awesome. And there's like 6 or 7 of them doing it. They're launching it as a free group. So I feel like there's going to be a lot more people in it than if it was like an info session group or something like that. And they're just basically like sharing transformations, their stories, giving healthy habits. They're going to go live, and even like, because all of them have the VIP access still, and maybe show them a couple moves from the workouts and stuff like that. So they're all like newer, so they didn't get to do the whole thing in June and May and like hype it up. So I'm excited for them and what that's going to do for their business. So if you guys want to like take that to your newer coaches too, I think it's going to be amazing.
I love that idea. I love it. So keep us updated on how that goes, because that sounds incredible. Sweet. You guys are pretty quiet today. Like
I'll share. Our group normally does the Snoop group type stuff. I had an interesting year because I was pregnant the first half of the year. So I actually didn't talk about 80-day obsession at all, like at all. So a lot of my people didn't do it. It's not like hyped up in our downline. For me, hour-long workouts, and like I have an eating disorder past, and I think Mary, we might have talked about this, or actually might have been Lacey, but Lacey had an eating disorder past too, and so the time nutrition was just like not my tribe's thing. So I actually didn't even do anything with 80-day obsession, sadly. But then To Be Mindset came out, and I had just had him, and so I felt overwhelmed. Like I didn't launch To Be when corporate launched it. And I was really stressed out about it because I was like, I haven't had 2 seconds to learn about this. And I like to like do my research and understand before I start talking about something. And so I was really stressed out about that. And someone on my team said, Brittany, your people don't know about 2B until you start talking about 2B. So like coach shoppers are like the worst thing ever. So if someone that follows you and it says they're your lifer, but they're like also following a bunch of other top coaches, like that's not cool. So your people don't know about Lift 4 or Transform 20 or whatever it is until you tell them. So that was like huge for me to like have peace with that. And I launched To Be Mindset like a month after it actually launched, and it went great. So like if you feel like you're in a season of life that you can't launch it the day corporate launches it, like have no fear. It's totally going to be okay.
such a great point. Absolutely. Like we launch things and then you can line them up. Absolutely. But there's, like I said before, there's relaunches. And I was talking to another coach, and I don't know if they're on here. It was earlier in the week, but she was talking about how she was finishing up 80 Day when Lift 4 came out. So she didn't do a team-wide Lift 4 release. And now she wants to, but she has a coach in her downline that did do it and that is kind of wanting to start the business. So I suggested, hey, why don't you recruit her to take the lead in this release, you know, and the launching of it, so that you can kind of coach her on how to do it. And it's kind of like getting her feet wet, but she's doing this with you, right? So if there's something that someone in your team has done that you haven't, like the time nutrition, and it's totally their jam, but it's not yours, and you have other people in your team and it's not theirs, but they want somebody who can talk about it. Use that. That's part of your team. That's part of your strength and part of the diversity that we have inside of a team. So recruit them to talk about that, and then train them on how to be a coach and how to help other people doing that and getting Success Club, right? Any other thoughts on that, you guys?
I have a quick question. Has anybody done any kind of new like relaunch around 2B Mindset with the 2B Mindset certification?
I guess not.
Guess not.
But I think that's a great idea, because if there is somebody in your downline that is trying to work this business that doesn't have the 2B certification, I think that's definitely not in your best interest. I think that you absolutely should. So Caroline, tell us what your thought is about that.
Yeah. Well, I've been thinking about doing the 2B Mindset certification, but I'm trying to kind of figure out like what that would look like. I partnered with my upline, and we have a like community just for women who are doing the 2B Mindset. But I do feel like with all these other launches that like we're posting in there every day, and some people are still showing up, but not like it was when it first came out, of course. So just trying to look for ways to like, you know, it's hard trying to talk about two different things at one time sometimes, because it's like that meal plan and eating program is so much different than the meal plans that come with like Lift 4 and things like that. So I'm just trying to personally figure out exactly how I want to go about doing that, because I'm about to go through the certification. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to talk about that, and like, do I want to do a relaunch around it, or I just want to add people as they kind of come who are more in need of that like specific nutrition program. So
any thoughts on that, you guys?
Tubi has been such a game changer for me that I like market it to everyone. So even my people that want Lift 4, like in the breakdown of going over what they get in their challenge pack, I give them the option of containers or Tubi Mindset. And I really, really talk up Tubi Mindset, but then I have to at the same time not neglect what the containers did for me for 2.5 years. You know what I mean? So I like break down, you get your Shakeology, your workouts, your accountability, all that stuff. And then I have a box of nutrition. And I really hype up the Tubi Mindset, but then I'm like, you know, if ambiguity is not your thing and, you know, if you'd like more structure, then we also have this thing that also worked really well for me for 2.5 years. So I plan on using Tubi Mindset for the rest of forever. So like, maybe not like a hard launch, but I'm still talking about it every single day.
Megan wants to know if you have a graphic that you could share for that. Tubi is a weak point for me.
What I do is I can share, I just did a team call on our team for this, my scripts. I really I don't answer anybody's question about anything until they answer my question. So if someone says, what's this food freedom? How much does Shakeology cost? I always go, you know what, that's a great question. I would love to answer it for you, but can I ask you a couple questions first to see if it would be a good fit? So, because if you answer something right off the bat, they've already made a decision before they even know what they're saying no to. And so I make them answer those questions to make me first see that they're serious, because if they're not going to take 5 minutes to answer 5 questions, then they're not going to show up in your challenge groups. Secondly, it gets their mind thinking and in a place of, I do need this. It is going to be an investment. I'm ready for this. And I have people who I send the questions to and then they ghost me and then they'll follow up to something else I post on social media. And I'm like, hey girl, do you still have those questions? Like, get back to the questions. So I don't answer anything until they answer those questions. And then after they answer those questions, I relate to whatever they said. Some people answer my questions with like, yes, no, 15 pounds, okay, sure. And I can't do much with that. Some people get really, really vulnerable and share their whole life story. And so those messages I have to do when he's sleeping, like I am like in those messages. And you relate back to whatever they said, thank them for being vulnerable. I know how hard that was. And then I break down what they get in a challenge pack. I don't ever say like, Beachbody On Demand is this much and Shakeology is this much. I just straight up shoot the challenge pack. And 9 times out of 10, they buy the challenge pack because I have confidence in what we're selling. So I'd be happy to share my stuff in the group, but basically I really just break down the different components of what you're getting when you invest in this challenge pack. And it starts out with the workouts. I talk about what it used to be like when I started and there were DVDs and you had to buy a new DVD each time you finished the program. So I'm showing them how incredible it is that you could pay $50 for a DVD or you pay $99 for 800 plus workouts, everything that's ever been invented. So I really break down how much value everything is. And then at the very bottom, I'm like, this is so much information. I totally get it, but I never want to make your decision for you. So you're giving them options. And then I attach little graphics for the 160 challenge pack. Right now I'm attaching all 3 Lift 4 challenge packs and then the Tubi Mindset challenge pack. Like, that's my go-to. And 9 times out of 10, I sell that $220 Tubi Mindset challenge pack. And a lot of times I add Energize to it too, because I drink Energize every single day in my stories. So that has been my thing. The graphics that I use, I literally pull the image from our ShareCart shop. So it's like the image, the flat layer, whatever, of everything you get in the challenge pack. And then the words over it just say what you're getting in the challenge pack. That's literally it.
Okay, Brittany, you have so many questions. Let's see. What are your 5 questions that you ask them?
First one is, what are your 30, 60, 90-day goals? Step 2 is, do you struggle more with fitness or nutrition? Feel free to elaborate. What's your story? The third one is, what type of workouts do you like, if any? And I always like to joke, I am not a runner. So if someone says something about running, good or bad, like that is something that I relate over. The fourth one is, do you have a strong internet connection? Do you have a Roku, laptop, Fire Stick? Like, I list some things. Because I never want someone that lives in the boonies to get Beachbody On Demand without knowing that like it could not be good. And then, are you ready to make an investment? And then I ask if they have any food allergies, because if, like, I had someone this week who's allergic to cinnamon. I had no idea, but there's cinnamon in all 5 Shakeology flavors. So I had to, you know, I want to ask that so that they don't make this huge investment and then swell up and get a rash the next week. And they're like, you didn't tell me there's, you know, X, Y, Z. So I always ask about food allergies. 99% of my conversations are email, and that's how I stay organized. It's awkward for people, but I say that right out the gate. I know we started talking on Instagram, girl, but my Instagram DMs are a hot mess. Can I pull you over to email so that I can make sure I don't miss your replies? So this is all done in email. No one fills out my applications in my bio either. It just makes us look fancy by saying, hey, there's an application in my bio. Like, occasionally I'll get one, and then they never actually respond to me when I message them. But it does make you feel fancy to say that.
Do you know how much that makes me feel so much better?
Girl, I get so frustrated because seriously, if you look at my posts, every single post, I'm like, click the link in my bio so I don't have to hunt you down in all my comments and messages. Like, no Linktree replies at all. It drives me crazy.
And I'm guilty of watching other coaches' stories, and I'm like, everyone's clicking their link. Why aren't they clicking mine?
Yeah.
I feel like people have this fear that they're going to click the link and it's going to make them pay like $500 as soon as they click the link. I feel like that's everyone's fear. And I don't know where it came from. There's got to be someone out there who put a link in their bio and like screwed one person over, but I feel like that's it.
Or it might be the viral thing.
I just want to get more organized, and you have to take it over email. But then I feel like it's slower replies in the email. People don't reply as quickly as they do like Instagram or Facebook. So then it's kind of like a catch-22. Like, yeah, I get their email, but then they're not really in their email as much.
I want to share one thing I did with my Linktree, because it's funny, because I'm glad that you guys said that too, because I feel the same way. But one thing I did is we run a launch group too, very similar to what you guys are doing. I don't really have anything different other than the ideas we've heard here. But I've talked about it on my Instagram stories, and then I did a screen, like the screen recording. If you have an iPhone, you know, and you swipe up and you just click that, and then showed them like literally taking them step by step to my Instagram profile. I clicked the Linktree, and then the first link I had on there took them directly to my Facebook free launch group and showed them like what it looks like, so they're not like you said, freaked out thinking that it's gonna like hook them in and, you know, they're gonna, you know, be trapped in this email and all this stuff. So and I actually had a really good response to that, and had quite a few people jump over to my Facebook launch group from it, and that did end up signing up. So that's something else. And I just added like some fun music to it using that app Hype Type, and put it on my Instagram story.
Ooh.
Nothing fancy.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then Caroline says, I personally get them to fill out the form and put their Facebook IG link, and I follow up with them after they don't reply to 2 emails. Did you want to elaborate, Caroline?
Yeah, so don't kill me, but I have the swipe up option. And so people fill out my forms pretty regularly. But I have my forms on my website, and I think that really helps, because then they start clicking around and they want to look at like my team page and my virtual boot camps, and they like start to just play around with other things. So I used to do Google Forms, but now I have a form on my website, and I think that helps them discover other things. So, and then also, even if I'm having a conversation with them on Instagram, like I'll send them the link and I'll say, hey girl, like I'd love to send you information. Do you mind just filling out this form really quick? And that way I can then email them, and I've got like all their information. But on that form, I say, put a link to their Facebook, and then a link, like what is their Instagram handle. So then I send an email, and then 3 days later I send follow-ups. If they don't reply to those follow-ups, then I'll pull up the form and just send them an Instagram message or a Facebook message and be like, hey girl, I've been trying to reach you on email. I figured it probably went to your spam box. I just wanted to follow up and like see if you got it, what questions you had. I'm holding a spot for you, so please let me know either way. I'm really big on saying I'm holding a spot for you, just because that kind of creates a sense of urgency. I'm sure all of you do that, but just to get them to actually reply. So that's personally what I do.
So you put your form in your swipe up, because I have the swipe up option in my stories too, but I don't put anything except for the link to my sneak peek.
Yeah, I do the form. So I'll be like, I have, 10 spots left or whatever, or if I'm just talking about it, like, even if it's like, I'm just literally recording myself talking about the boot camp, I'll put at the bottom, like, swipe up, fill out the form if you want information. And I'll put it like on every story that I'm talking about the boot camp, because people just tend to swipe up. They typically don't want to have to go back to your profile and go through all your stuff. So I do that. And I don't like sending them to the link tree very much, just because sometimes they get lost in starting to look at all the things. And so it just takes them right to the, form. And it's just a few questions so that it's not overwhelming. They could be in their car and just quickly answer back. It's not tell me your life story, it's just really name, email, and then just, their Instagram and Facebook links.
So you link the type form URL to your swipe up option?
Yeah.
Awesome. Also, if whoever wants to, we could put our Instagram handles in the chat and just kind of check on each other, support each other, rally around each other, see what we're doing and what's working. Just an idea. I'd love to see your profiles.
Can I ask a question?
To say something? Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask a question because you guys are all talking about Instagram. So Instagram is where I'm really working to move to, because I'm a Facebook girl totally. So my question is, how I used to handle my conversations on Facebook is similar to what you guys are doing. You do a form, sometimes they fill them out. If not, you go through some series of questions. But my conversations on Facebook with my people always were over sometimes a couple days, detailed information, sometimes weeks, depending on when I get back to people. And I'm finding on Instagram that it's different. Or I'm wondering if when you are having conversations on Instagram, if they fill out a form and you basically do the, hey, I'm, thank you for sharing with me. I can relate, blah, 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 and then go right into package options. I'm wondering if that's what you guys are doing, because that's not what I did previously on Facebook. I would do more relationship building and then go into packages. And I'm wondering if that's a disconnect for me to convert, because it seems like things are quicker on Instagram.
You guys should blow this up, seriously.
I kind of do what Brittany was talking about. Sorry, I totally just interrupted you. But I try to limit it. I will ask them questions about their goals and get them talking about themselves, because the second they talk about themselves, people have talking about themselves. But I try not to have it go past 4 to 6 messages, because people will either get distracted and totally forget. If they have kids, they'll put their phone down. Like you said, you have to do it when your baby's not up. And so I try, I used to do so much relationship building that I would never ask them past their initial thing. And then they would go sign up with someone else. So definitely quicker, but making it so that it's all about them first, so that they don't think you're oh, I'm trying to, but I mean, if they honestly filled out a form or something like that, the door's open. It is wide open.
I think too, once with Instagram, once you kind of have them, then I know I've heard people say this, our job starts after they're in our group. So I've really made the effort in building the relationships with my new challengers and committing to, I've just started a new checklist where I'm checking up with my August and September, my newbies every single week through a private message. So I'm spending less time in the actual conversation beforehand, because honestly with Instagram, they're watching me, they know what I'm doing, they see me showing up every day, which is to me what fills the void versus Instagram and Facebook. On Facebook, I had to prove myself a little bit more, because they're only seeing a clip of a picture and scrolling on that. But if they're watching my Instagram stories, they are seeing it day in and day out, and so I don't have to prove as much, because they already know. And then I spend more time on the relationship once they're with me, if that helps.
I actually personally have a virtual assistant who helps me. She sends 25 messages a day to all of my new followers, 25 messages a day to people who are watching my stories. and I have scripts for both of those. And then that way I can spend more time, like you were saying, Lauren, like on actually closing the back door of my business and not always being so focused on getting all these people in, but actually serving those people. And that tends to also, like, I feel like it helps my volume just because it's like those people are staying on Home Direct Shakeology. They're like actually invested customers who end up becoming coaches. And so I just personally, like, I work full time and have a little girl. And so to be able to do all of those things would just be totally overwhelming. And so I have someone who helps me send those messages and get the conversation going. And then if you have a Mac and you don't have Flume on your computer where you can easily message people back, it's basically Instagram on your laptop. And so I just quickly, like in between calls and while I'm at work doing stuff, I kind of message people back to try to stay on top of those. But that's just a little something to think about. And I personally also don't track people unless they ask for information on the challenge group, because I used to try to track every person I was talking to. And so now I just tally mark them. I'm like, okay, I got my 25 of this, 25 of that, whatever. Now my Abby's doing it for me, but that kind of helps as well.
Love it. Thank you, guys. And that's such a good point, Caroline, because you, at this point in all of your businesses, I'm sure that you are getting so much interest and you have to kind of pick out who you're going to spend that time with, right? But I have heard the comparison, I think Lauren touched on it, where it's like Facebook is more of like a long-term, have to prove yourself kind of thing. But over on Instagram, it's way quicker. It's more like speed dating is kind of what I heard. So you can go right to the invite a little bit faster. So, and Lily, Flume, lifesaver. Oh my gosh, get it. If anybody else has it, it's amazing. Like, I don't even use it half the time, but to not have to switch the account on my phone, it's incredible. Yeah.
Awesome. Can I make a comment now?
Yes, Tess.
Oh, hey, so speaking about Instagram, I think in one of these calls, maybe my uplines calls, they talked about Stim Social as a way to getting followers. It is the best investment of my money. Like, I'm not chasing down hashtags and brands. They're getting me real people that are not other coaches, so I can spend more time on Flume commenting and things like that. So it's helped a lot. So just my stories have a lot more engagement with people I don't know, because the Stim Social thing is working. So just wanted to pass that along.
And Amanda, you said you used it. There you are. So what is it helping you as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's growing my account a lot faster, and I'm connecting with people, and it saves me a lot of time. I have the pro account where it will send a message, like a welcome message to my new followers, which I was manually doing. So it frees up that time for me and I don't miss anybody. And it just keeps people engaged longer because they know that I'm like, noticing that they're here. And yeah, so I think it also engages in likes too, but I really appreciate that it has that messaging option and that I can choose what accounts it follows, what hashtags, and where it's finding people. So it's been really good.
So did you start with the pro account or did you start with a basic? Because in the chat we're talking about pricing and different options. So what did you start with before pro?
I started with the basic or my free trial, but I went straight to the pro account because I want to grow my business faster. So it's just like, I'm going to invest and pay right away. So
whatever the $99 package is called is what I got. Is that the pro account? I don't remember. That's what I did. And so,
I don't know. I have like a 30-something a month.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so the $99 one, they like actually review your account and give you feedback and stuff. Yeah.
And then so they found me brands and followers based upon what I do, that weren't anyone that I had ever seen of. And it's happening. My growth is much faster. And they're all real people that they're sending me that live in the US, that are my avatar, so it's all good.
Amanda, you send a welcome message to every new follower on your account.
Yeah.
And many reply to that?
Sometimes they reply, sometimes they just send a heart or ignore. But if they do reply and it's like an actual, legitimate message,
I always ask like if they're on a health and fitness journey and start there. I always start the conversation in that realm. So it's like, they know what I do, you know, and I'm here to help them with that. So,
you know, what's also helped, someone mentioned about like everything happens on Instagram much faster. There isn't this whole 5-step conversation thing that happens on Facebook. Just randomly, like whatever, I do this once a week, whatever post got the highest number of views on my stories, I just send them a message saying, hey, thanks for liking my, not even a sell, just, hey, thanks for liking my post. It's nice to know that someone's at least looking at these stories. It's very lighthearted and funny. And just a thank you message. That's it. And I'd say about 25% people respond back and say something nice too. I mean, it's all about being nice, right? So that seems to help too. So no sale, no hey girl, just send the message saying thanks.
Cool. Yeah, I'm the one thing that I do feel like I'm doing good on Instagram right now is at least having conversations going. And I use the same thing. I have an automated message. I hate getting those brand new automated messages that are like, hey, so nice to meet you. Click my link in my bio and buy this from me. So I just send something like, hey, thanks so much for following. I love connecting with other badass people. And like, I use words that I like to use in my posts that are going to connect to those type of people. And so those people that like that are going to respond, and I get tons of responses. Sometimes they're like, oh, thank you so much for thinking I'm a badass, or yeah, totally dig that. And then those are the people that I know like that feel my vibe. So it gets it's easy for me then to get conversations going with those people. And I don't bring anything up over about like, join my group, buy my stuff. But Tess, I'm going to upgrade because I've been considering doing that. So thank you for telling me, because that is my disconnect with Instagram, is finding the right influencer accounts that are finding my people. Mm-hmm. And that's where my disconnect is. And I feel like I'm not growing as fast because I haven't found those right influencer accounts yet. So I'm definitely going to upgrade.
Leila, if you can swing it, do the $99 thing, because they find your groups.
Yeah, that's where I need the help right now.
So, which is funny because I had given them a list of groups and brands and hashtags that I follow. And when they took over the account, like I looked at it, like I had like 80 people, 80 things, and they brought it down to 24. And I'm like, okay, I'm trusting the process. They basically tell you don't touch it. Because if you start touching it, then Instagram on their back end realizes you're using an outside source, and then you get like slapped and you can't get into Instagram for 2 days. It could happen to me. So don't let them, you can shut off Stim if you want to take over. Oh, that's the other thing. If any of you guys are using Cleaner, you can't use Cleaner and Stim together at the same time. So you have to shut off Stim manually and then do the Cleaner thing. Otherwise, again,
it cleans for you. Like you can change your settings so that it automatically unfollows people, and you get like an actual website so you can see what's going on. It's really cool.
Yeah. But I think it'll clean the people that they add for you. Like it won't clean the people you had added prior. And what happened to me is I was trying to clean it out from what I had created before they started, and it was a big mess. So let them do their thing. But the other thing that's also helped is these giveaway things. If you guys have, headbands or any of these kinds of things that laying around that you have for prizes, offering 3 prizes for a weekend thing and running it like Friday to Sunday night helps get a lot of followers too. That's helped me too. This is before Stim. So
I'm just nervous about the apps like Stim Social and stuff, because I'm afraid that Instagram will like penalize me or shut down my account, and this is like 95% of my business. So it's not like illegal or anything, right?
I don't think it's illegal. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I mean, it hasn't, knock on wood, no one said anything. It's been brought up at a lot of team call meetings. So I guess
I've been on like Lewis Howe's like webinars about Instagram growth and stuff, and they use the same stuff. Like, I mean, he's a massive, successful Instagram person, so he talks about all of this stuff. So I don't think it's illegal. It's business.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and it's just like Tess said, if you start messing with it, then it will probably alert Instagram, so you have to be careful of what you do. Caroline said, and all of them have been using Captivate for a couple of years. Okay. So Great advice. Get that swipe up option so you guys can build your businesses. And we have just a couple of minutes left. So if there's any questions that you guys have about Instagram launches, Shakeology, comments. No. Yes. No. So I don't know if go ahead, Amanda.
So I know we're all pushing for Premier and Elite. What are you guys doing to build diamonds and such and build leadership? Because I have the points. My biggest struggle is building the diamonds. I
announced a diamond retreat. I found a beach house I really want to rent in Charleston, like Folly Beach, South Carolina. I'm not sure exactly which house it'll be, but I took a picture of one and I just said, Team Lift and Be Lifted Diamond Retreat April 2019, and that they have to hit diamond by November 22nd. So that's what I was fueled by. I didn't want to build the business, but if I could get to diamond and win a retreat, that's what did it for me. So I did the retreat. I also threw in $100 gift card between the 3 ladies who were closest to diamond. Because I'm at 3-star right now. I'm just trying to rally around my girls, and they're so close, but I think they're like losing momentum. So I'm just trying to hype them up with gifts and retreats and things that sound shallow, but like gets them excited.
I'm excited by retreats as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I've been closer friends with them too. Like I started direct messaging them more, having a group chat with those 3 that are the closest. And we had like a late night chat last night. I was dying laughing just because we know each other better. I've invested in them more. They feel like they know me. I'm more approachable to them. So I've just kind of befriended them closer.
Okay. I currently have a chat group for the girls that are pushing for Diamond. So we can work together, and I announced a retreat for next spring. I think it's May. And it's like losing steam, I guess. So I'm just gonna hype it up more.
I feel like for me, my biggest thing this second half of the year was new blood, because so many of my girls who said they wanted to be diamond 3 years ago are still, unstable emeralds. So I'm in 2-star qualification right now, and my diamond that's qualifying lives in Wilmington, North Carolina, where the freaking hurricane is. So we may or may not lose qualification tomorrow, but it's in God's hands. Where was I going with this? I don't remember. Oh, new blood. Like literally just finding people that want this the way you do, because like for me, honestly, I thought my best challengers came from my challenge groups, but I'm finding out my best challengers come from, I'm sorry, my kid just puked everywhere. I'm finding that my coaches are actually coming from people who start out as a coach and a challenger at the same time. And I don't know if that's because they're sharing their journey in real time or what it is, but I find that my coaches that signed up as coaches day one are doing better this year. And so I also have a group thread going with like 5 or 7 of them. I also announced a team retreat, but I told them I'm not booking this house until we hit 5-star, because my 5-star bonus is going to pay for this house, and you guys want this to be all expenses paid. If not, we can still do it, but it's $600 per person. So that's kind of what I said.
That's smart.
Yeah. So thank you, Brittany. So here's what we'll do, you guys. So next week, let's dedicate the whole call to this about building leaders. Does that sound good? Because we could talk all day about this, and it's something I want to dig into, and I don't want to cut it short. So next week we'll talk about building leaders. And then we'll just talk all about building diamonds, what we're doing, retreats, how many people we have, attracting them. Sound good? Okay, I see like, yes, please, all in the chat. So what I have done is I saved the chat with all of the Instagram handles. I'll post it in our group, and then you guys can follow each other. And then if, whoever else is on the page can join that as well. So amazing discussion today, you guys. I'm gonna stop recording.